You are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast.
This is for you. For scaring those things away.
What is going down? What the fuck is going down? It is your boy, Studio McGyver, and you are listening to Studio McGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Welcome to the show, everybody. If you're new to the show and you're into nerd culture, video games, anime, then you've come to the right place. We talk about all of that here. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about something that has been pretty much all over the internet. Everybody's been talking about it. Especially if you're a huge gamer, whether you're, Team Microsoft, Team Sony, or Team both for that matter. There was an acquisition that took place. Something got bought and it cost $7.5 million to purchase it. I'm going to talk about all of this and what it means moving forward, depending on who you run with, whether it's, Sony, Microsoft, and even Nintendo. We're going to get into all of that. Also, Tokyo Game Show. It was a thing. It happened. And I'm going to talk about, some things that were shown there. And it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I'll say that. And there's reasons why that is the case. But we're going to get into all that shit, guys. And I also want to give a special shout out to one of my listeners. He goes by the name of Kev MR26. He's probably listening to this. He knows who I am. We tried to actually get some matches going with Dragon Ball Fighters, and it just didn't go the way we wanted it to. His microphone, he ended up had some mic issues, and then we were about to play. We had the match set up and everything, and then the frame rate was so bad that we couldn't even finish the match. And then I had some things that I had to take care of. So I was trying to get some matches before I got on that. And it just didn't work out, man. It didn't work out. I'm a night owl by nature, if you guys don't know that. So I'm up usually during the night, and, he's not. But we will link up again, sir. And we will hopefully have everything lined up the way it should be. And we'll definitely get back to that fight, because I came out hard. We only had like literally maybe 25 seconds. I came out kind of hard, but then he started to pull out that mop and that warm butter, so I got a little nervous, but luckily it froze up and I got out of there. I was rusty as fuck too. I'm not gonna lie, I was rusty, so I'm gonna try to work on my game a little bit. And his record is pretty sweet, I must admit. So we'll meet again, and hopefully it won't be as trash as this first meeting was. But hey, I appreciate just the idea of us doing this, and we can do it again. And if you're out there listening, man, and you wanna chop it up with your boy, about Dragon Ball, about anime, about video games, whatever, you know what I mean. If you have a PlayStation, a PS4, you can do that, man. You can send me a friend request to Whitley79. That's WHITLEY 79. And I will accept your friend request, man. And we can get into some gangster shit, in the gaming world. We can talk about games. We can look at each other's libraries. We can kind of see, what's out there, what we play. And then we could, possibly team up and do some things, man. I would love that, So let's get on with the show. There's a couple other things I want to talk about, though. And we got some Amazon news, guys. Yes, Amazon has their hat in the ring for something. And I guess in this day and age, man, anything's possible. So, yeah, it's crazy. And then we have a little Xbox, news. little Xbox talk, some things that they have, something that you might want to add to your, your future console, your next gen console. But, we're going to get into all of that. So let's start off the show. And I want to start off by, I guess I'm going to go ahead and tackle the Xbox thing first. The Xbox thing, and what that is I'm talking about their expansion storage. That's what I want to talk about, and the price and all of that. Because if you think you're getting a good deal, with, for the Xbox Series S, you technically are. It just depends on what kind of gamer you are. And most of us know who play, consoles now, PS4s, Xbox Ones. You know that eventually you're going to go and need to use some of that storage. Okay. Eventually you're going to accumulate games to the point where you're going to have to delete some things if you're not playing them. And then you have to ask yourself, how many games do you want in your rotation? So on and so forth. I think the average gamer, it's just me off the top of my head thinking, maybe 3 games at once, at least, that you want to have on your system at all times, 3 games that you're currently playing. So you can kind of go between the games, and you don't have to worry about those long ass downloads. That's one thing about the future of gaming that I do not like, is just these huge fucking game files, man. I don't know if that is going to be able to be remedied. That's one cool thing about streaming games. I guess if that's one thing I have to give props to for streaming games, is the fact that you don't have to worry about that. But other than that, it is what it is. Hopefully, Sony and Microsoft and even Nintendo in the future can deal with these things in a better way. But as of right now, man, these games are huge, and you're going to have some storage space. And with the Microsoft Xbox Series S, you're barely getting enough room to start, because then you have the operating system, which is going to take up some space already off top. And then you have to, you have to watch what you have. You have to watch what you're playing, because now games are coming out, 100 fucking gigs sometimes, and it's ridiculous. So just be mindful of that. And Xbox is definitely doing something that I think is kind of a little shady, on a little on the shady side, man. The system, for the most part, most people are going to want the average, the base system, the $500 system. Okay. Most people are going to go for that one. That's the one I would typically go for if I was going to get it. And, if you ask yourself, well, what if I need some extra storage? What if I want, to add some external storage like I have on my PS4, and that's going to cost you a pretty penny, because you're going to have to put down the money for it, because they have an SSD, or it's a 1 terabyte expansion storage. It's made specifically for the Xbox Series X, and it's going to cost you $220. Okay. In other words, there's nothing else you can use or buy that is going to work. You have to buy this device. You have to buy this or nothing if you want to, add more storage for right now. Okay. Now they did state that they were going to allow third-party developers to create and make their own renditions of what this is. So as time progresses and goes by, there'll be more companies coming out with something similar, something close for, fraction of the price. And that will then lower the price of everything else. Will start to, go down somewhat. But still, I think the way they did this, they could have easily made, your average USB 3.0 connection, and they could have just left it at that. You know what I mean? But, like I said, they want all the money coming to them. And as a business mind, I guess you can't be mad at that. I mean, that's what you should do in a sense. But at the same time, as a businessman or as somebody who's business savvy, you also got to look at it the other way too. Like, well, you want this accessible. You don't want people to look at that like, well, what I'm talking about right now, like, it's kind of dirty. It's like getting into a fight and grabbing some dirt and throwing it in your opponent's face real quick so you can get a free lick. That's what it kind of feels like to me. But we'll see. We shall see how this turns out. Hopefully 1 terabyte or damn near 1 terabyte is enough for the average gamer to start out with, because like I said, there's not really going to be anything to buy right now. I'm talking about maybe a year from now, after the game releases, then you can start to see some of the games in the library starting to fatten up a little bit. Then you can ask yourself, okay, I might need to start tapping into some of this now. And then hopefully by then you'll have alternatives ready. And usually it doesn't take long, man. As we speak right now, there's probably somebody working on one of these devices, these third-party devices right now. So wouldn't surprise me if it was a lot sooner than later, but that's where we are right now. And I guess we have to accept it if you want to play the system or add things to it. But one thing that this thing does do for you, or it does help you do if you're a certain type of gamer, is it allows you to multitask game. I hope that makes sense, but let me give you an example. They're calling it I'm going to say this. They're calling it instant resume. That's the best words I can come up with. Instant resume is basically, say you want to play a game and you're trying to get into a lobby or something. And, sometimes it takes time to find, a lobby, find a group or whatever to play with. And while you're doing that, you don't want to just sit there while you stare at the screen waiting to get, logged into a game. Well, you can just instantly, back out of that and jump into another game that you were playing by yourself. Maybe you have a single player RPG or something that you're playing, and you can jump into that just like that. And then as easy as you jumped in, you can jump back out and you can check on your status on the online game. And then, oh, okay, I'm in now. So then you can just close the other game out, jump right in. It's supposed to be seamless in a sense, very seamless. And for people who are trying to do that or would like to do that, I mean, I guess that's cool. Maybe you have 3 or 4 games you want to play and you want to just kind of jump right in. Maybe that 220 right now is worth that for you. But like I said before, it doesn't make sense because, in a sense, if you look at it all, you're not going to really even need that until you get the library, fattened up. I don't think we're going to have that many games on launch to even play with. So, I don't know, man. That's just how I look at it. That's the angle I'm seeing from this whole thing. Maybe you guys see something else that I don't, but yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. But they also claim that you can use external memory and it will work for Xbox One, Xbox 360, and Xbox. So if you wanted to use external memory that didn't include that, and you wanted to use another SSD or something like that, you can, and it would work for those games, and you can play your games off of it. So if you had games on your hard drive already that maybe you're using for your Xbox One, you can just plug that into your Xbox Series X and you can play those from there. It's just the current gen games are not going to be accessible like that. You're going to have to use that special drive for that. And, like I said, to me, it looks like they're pinching pennies, that they're trying to, get everything and anything they can get from this. But that's just me. Okay. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I really want to know, but $200 plus, that's a lot, man, for somebody to be buying that, and there's some people that are going to buy it, even if they never even use it, because, hey, you want to have everything available. You want everything that Microsoft is offering here. Hey, so be it, go crazy with it. But that won't be me. Even when I do eventually get a Microsoft, Xbox Series X, I will not be, I don't think I'll be utilizing that. I think I'll just wait till something else cheaper and better becomes available. And that's probably my goals. You know what I mean? Right now. Anyway, let's move on, guys. Let's move on to another tasty tidbit, I guess, if you will. If you're into streaming games, if you're into doing that, which most people aren't right now, that people are still trying to come around to it and all of that. But Amazon is trying to do the same thing that Google Stadia is doing, guys. Okay. Amazon said, no. Okay, hold my beer. I want to try streaming video games. Okay. Cloud gaming. That's crazy. Okay. But it's going to be $5.99 starting out, $5.99 a month. Okay. There's currently no release date on it. Betas are, news will be coming soon as of when betas are going to start to open. And maybe you guys can get a chance to experience that. And somebody lucky will get a chance to see what it's really about. But yeah, man, I thought they learned their lesson from looking at Google Stadia. But maybe they know something that we don't. Maybe they have something in their back pocket that we don't know about. And maybe they have a leg up on the streaming technology and how all that shit works as well. I don't know. I do not know. But I mean, games available for this, right? That are going to be, we have Control, Resident Evil 7, A Plague's Tale. These are a few games that are going to be available on this thing when it finally does, drop and come out or whatever. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of the streaming, community. You can't get the same love necessarily out of it. And it's very sensitive depending on where you're located. There's a lot of people who can't, are not going to be able to enjoy this, man. There's a lot of people out there who can't even enjoy a phone call from their phone because they live in a certain area. I mean, I'm serious. I went to there's certain apartment complexes around here that if you step 1 foot inside that gate, you're going dark. Okay. And I don't understand that. And it's crazy. It's different companies. Sprint might be cool in this area here, but then you might go over here and they're trash. But then T-Mobile is A1. So it's just like, okay, hurry up 5G. Let's get here. Let's make that a reality. And then, we can remedy some of this shit. Now, as far as how much bandwidth you're using and all that, that's another factor you have to take into account. And nobody's talking about that. At least the companies aren't talking about that. I don't know if they're not on purpose or if they're just trying to not have people really think about that, because that data, man, streaming games like that, it's going to eat the fuck out of your data. So be prepped for that. Okay. Because you could be draped in butter before you know it. And we don't want, we don't want that. Okay. If we can help it. All right. Anyway, moving on from that, let's get into the Tokyo Game Show. Okay. Tokyo Game Show. It was pretty whack. It was pretty soft, if you will. It wasn't all that, man. I mean, and I understand why, for the simple fact that it's COVID season, if you want to call it that. And they did everything for the most part from home and from different locations, to keeping it safe. And I understand that it's not as good. And really, there weren't any really new games announced or anything. Most of these games were games that we've already seen. I've already talked about on other podcasts. And we got some of them we just had commentary for. They showed pictures of certain things. Some things showed a little bit more gameplay, but nothing to write home about. Nothing major. You know what I mean? Couple games that, caught my attention, Neo 2, the second DLC. There's these weapons, these claw-like weapons, man. They're fucking dope. I really love the way they're being used on the game. There's a video on it if you guys want to check it out, but that's really it. They showed like a little bit of gameplay of that. You definitely got to be up close and personal to use that stuff. And it depends on, what kind of player you are, but they look awesome. And I thought that was cool. I'll eventually go back to Neo to when, I think all the DLCs are finished and I can go back and run through them all, going back, playing the DLC, going hard for, a couple weeks, a week or two, and then waiting again until the next one's available and all that. I mean, I like to tackle it all at one time if possible. That's just me, but everybody has their own preference, We also had some Dragon Ball Z Kakarot anger, if you want to call it that. Okay. Everybody's looking for these DLCs and they had no news. Tokyo Game Show, you're thinking, oh, they're going to show something. They're going to let us know. No love in the building. We got nothing. And as a result of that, people are upset. Okay. Dragon Ball fans are angry and they want to know more. But, I guess that's at the discretion of the publisher and the developers to let us know that shit. So if I hear anything new, I will let you guys know. But right now we have nothing. Okay. No, we have nothing at all. Now, here's a bit of some news. If you're a fighting fan like me, Virtua Fighter 6 is a thing. It is true. It is in development. It is happening. Okay. That is going to be crazy. I think the last Virtua Fighter we had was, wow. How many years ago that was, man? Easily 8, 9 years. You know, if I'm in that, it's around that ballpark. It's been a minute. Okay. But that's where we are. That's where we are. I'm just happy to get another franchise, you know, them being in works on it. And the game is very, very well respected, man, through the fighting community, man. I mean, if you look up Virtua Fighter, man, it is definitely one of the OGs of the franchise, of the fighting franchises in general, period. So I'm happy that they announced that, and that is at least is in development. Don't know anything else about it right now, but hey, that's all I need to know. Oh, Resident Evil is another one. You know, they showed, and they didn't show any gameplay or anything like that. Don't get it twisted, guys. They talked about it they talked about it mostly. And, you know, Chris Redfield, man, I'm telling you, he looks something different, man. What happened to Chris? Man, I'm asking myself, what happened to Chris to allow him to, you know, work with Umbrella? Like, what the fuck is going on here? And that there alone is just enough to intrigue me to like, yo, I need to find out what's going on, man. But the village and stuff like that looks dope. It's supposed to be like nice and slowy, wintry and snowy, and all of these things. And there's actually going to be villages, you know, and in these villages are going to be actual NPCs that aren't trying to kill you. They're going to be some NPCs that are just there for whatever reason, some that live there, and they're going to be helping you. Some are, and you know, some are just minding their own business. You know, they don't want no smoke with anybody. So I'm going to be anxious to see how this takes place. I mean, I already want to play the game. I really, really do. And I really want to know what the fuck is going on with Chris Redfield, man, and why he's doing what he's doing. And what they did to him. They had to have done something to him to make him act that way. But we shall see. Only time will fucking tell. Another game, Phantasy Star Online 2, New Genesis. That is a thing for all you Phantasy Star players out there, man. The game looks breathtaking. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And, you know, I'm curious about that one as well. And we also got some gameplay of Zelda Age of Calamity. Now, I talked a little bit about this game before last week, I want to say. And, you know, after getting to watch a little bit more gameplay, I like what I saw. I really, really like what I saw. I mean, I've already pre-ordered that one at GameStop, which, you know, hopefully it'll last. GameStop will last at least until this comes out. But that's a joke, by the way. Hopefully it will, you know, do its thing or whatever. The game looks breathtaking. You get a chance to play all the characters from Breath of the Wild. It's basically a prequel to Breath of the Wild. You find out what happened. You find out what led up to the events in Breath of the Wild. And I think that's just an awesome premise. And it's also them being smart and getting ready for 2021 because everybody's waiting on that next game, that next Zelda game, Breath of the Wild game. And they're just drawing it in. So this one is more of a story-based game. Compared to the Hyrule Warriors, which was just, you know, running around doing things, playing with all these different characters. This one more focuses on less characters, but more story, way more story and lore and all of that. And I'm so down with that. I'm so down with that. And I can't wait to get into it. But some of the gameplay was awesome. Some of the characters you got to play as. I can't wait, man. I'm excited for this one. November 20th is when it drops. So if you're curious and you want to know, then check it out November 20th. All right. That's enough of the Tokyo Game Show. Like I said, it was just brushing over things and a lot of things they were just rehashing, regurgitating, you know, in Japanese. And that's pretty much what we were at, man. I mean, nothing else interested me enough to talk about it or bring it up. They did show one game, which was Genshin Impact, which, by the way, guys, is out now. I just downloaded it and I hadn't had a chance to play it yet, but I am so excited. I cannot wait to jump into this game and play it. I got one friend to jump on with me so far. I'm going to get a couple other friends because they don't know. They don't even fucking know about this game, but it's definitely something they would play. And yeah, man, I think, you know, this game is going to be awesome. I think the game is going to be dope. Everybody's talking about it. I mean, it's available everywhere. The servers are fucking huge. Nintendo Switch is one of the only systems that's not out for it yet, but it is coming soon to the Nintendo Switch. And like I said, everybody's sharing the same server. You can play this on your fucking iPhone. Okay. It's crazy. Matter of fact, female I was talking to the other night on Instagram, where we were having a little conversation and we were discussing, what platforms we were going to play the game on. And I told her PS4. She told me her damn phone. And I was like, wow, that is a thing. Matter of fact, at the Tokyo Game Show, he was playing on his phone and they just blew the screen up and you could watch him play. It's crazy, man. It's crazy how dope this game looks and what platforms you can play it on. And it's crazy because the PC, there's a lot of people with PCs, man, that can't play it. I'm like, wow, how is your iPhone stronger than your PC? That doesn't make any sense, but it's a thing. And it is true. So if you're going to play it, I advise everybody just to Google Genshin Impact and be the judge for yourself. There's plenty of videos that do it so much justice, breaking it down, telling you what it's about and all of that. And then you can decide if you want to jump in or not. That's just me. I cannot wait to play this. I'm going to try to play some tonight, man, but I am so tired, guys, right now. I am literally running on fucking fumes. I haven't had any sleep this last few days, man. And it's, with this new baby and everything, she's making shit hard sometimes. I'm not going to lie to you. She's making things difficult. Okay. And I have to get to sleep. I have to get some rest. So after this podcast, after I record this shit, man, I'm going to crash at least for a few hours, get my wind up underneath me. And then, I see where I stand after that. Yeah. So there's so many things happening, but Genshin Impact is going to be a dope game. If you like open world RPGs with graphics that look like Breath of the Wild graphics with anime mixed in, then this is what this game looks like in a nutshell. Okay. Yeah, it looks like that in a nutshell. And, it's free to play. And most people think, oh, it's free to play. And, what does that mean? And, it's going to be a shitty game, like a lot of the practices that these mobile companies are doing and stuff like that. And, this company is known out here in these digital streets. Okay. First of all, you need to do basically do your research on this company, man. They are awesome. Now, if the game is as good as everybody who's already tested it, played it a little bit, has been saying it is, then I wouldn't mind giving them money here and there. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, even though it's completely 110% plausible not to. You can run through the whole game story, all of these things without even worrying about that. But it's your prerogative. There's a character that you really fall in love with later on down the line. You want him or her. You can add them, man, and you can do it a number of ways. If you don't feel like grinding this particular day for something, you could, go ahead and pay that $5, $10 or something and make it and get that shit popping. I'd gladly do that. I mean, I did that for Warframe. I paid like, $15, $20 here. And it was worth it, for those type of things. And these developers, they take years to work on these games and they put in so many man hours, and especially if it's a good title, if they're not trying to fuck you and it has that feel about it. Everybody who's played it said it has a feel like it's not your typical, gotcha game or whatever. It's not. It's completely, it's some new shit. And I think they're going to be a hit. I really do. I think this game's going to be dope and I can't wait to play it. So I'll definitely be running it down with you guys next week. Anyway, let's get to, the meat and potatoes of this conversation, guys, before I fucking fall out from exhaustion. And let's talk about Microsoft acquiring Zenimax Media, which is the parent company of good old Bethesda. Okay. Though Bethesda, if you're not familiar, hey, they're responsible for Fallout franchise. Okay. Elder Scrolls, which is their baby. They've done games like Doom. They also have an upcoming sci-fi game, guys, that a lot of people are really, really looking forward to playing, called Starfield. And, I had to ask myself, what does this shit mean for Sony? Because a lot of people were out there losing their minds, especially Sony ponies. And hey, I'm, not afraid to admit to being a Sony pony. But, you have to think about this. This is a good thing, man. Some people might look at me crazy or look at me like I'm purple and ask me what? And I'll say it again. This is a good thing. Okay. Anytime you have competition between two companies, going after that customer, it's a great thing. It's going to make everybody better. Think about it. That's why do you think Microsoft paid $7.5 billion? okay, to purchase a lot of these studios, because it's going to make them better. It's going to make them tired of hearing the same old about how Sony whipped your ass and how this and this and this and how Sony has so many great games, so many titles, all of these things, and you have none, because the company you keep, you know, they're not about that life. And now you're gonna have to spend some serious coin to change that, and they have. And finally, you're starting to see this. Now the question comes into play, you know, Microsoft, are they going to have all of these exclusive to Microsoft brand, or are they going to kind of spread the love? Because companies have done that before, where they cherry pick the titles that they want to keep to themselves, and then, you know, they still make a great, you know, they make so much money. Now, when you're thinking about how many Xboxes have been sold compared to how many Sonys have been sold, that makes sense for them to do that with certain entities, if you will. Because you mean to tell me that, you know, if you sell it and make it available for Sony, and you're making 35% profit off of each sale, and they have double from what you have on your own. They own, you know what I mean? That's going to help you. You know what I mean? You can sell so many yourself, but then, you know, what next? Especially with this Elder Scrolls shit. I mean, Elder Scrolls 6, you know, which is still a long ways off. They could choose to say, fuck it. No, this is exclusive to us. I mean, they can take it so many different places, man. I mean, that's the beauty of it all. And it's also cute that they've done this. And they basically walk into a restaurant and they saw Sony PlayStation having a drink of his favorite tea. And they walked over there, grabbed his teacup, and just basically splashed the hot tea, mind you, in Sony's face. And then walked out of the restaurant. Had everybody shook, didn't know what was going on. And Sony calmly just took a napkin, you know, patted his or her face and said, okay, I understand. I got you. And then immediately started going to work, trying to acquire other things. This is, you know, a slap in the face, a wake up slap to Sony. Like, look, they did this. What are you going to do now? We're going to make yourself better. Okay. And like I said before at the beginning, it's only going to benefit us. If they're fighting to be better at things and do things better and give customers what they want, as opposed to the other guy, they're going to try to one up each other. And that's good for everybody. That's going to make all the systems great. Okay. That's what I'm talking about here. And, you know, you kick a dog, you know, a rabid dog like Sony, you better watch yourself too, as well. Because, you know, Sony's like, well, you got this, you doing this. Okay. That's only going to motivate them to do more shit. And then in return, Microsoft will try to retort. It's going to continue like this. And like I said, it's only going to make us, the gamers, the gaming community, happy. And I am so thankful for that. So to me, it's, you know, it's not a big deal to me. It's really not at all. So I invite it with open arms. And if it's going to make Sony a better product, so fucking be it, man. So fucking be it. Okay. Now, you know, I wanted to mention a little bit of some games I've been playing. You know, guys, I've been playing PSP, a lot of fucking PSP lately, man. A lot of fucking PSP. Yeah, I can't believe it. I've been playing SSX on tour, and I've been playing Def Jam Fight for New York. I mean, I couldn't put the PSP down, man. And that's what I've been rocking the last 2-3 days. So I don't know, man. I just play whatever I fucking feel like playing. You know, it might be Dreamcast next week. Who knows? I don't know. It might be Xbox, because I bought Crackdown at Movie Trading Company the other day, just for shits and giggles. And I ordered SSX3, which is my favorite SX tricky game of all time. Soundtrack, everything's crazy on this, but I bought it for the Xbox. And yeah, man, it should have been here Saturday, but for some reason it's saying that my mail has been forwarded. I do not know why, so I have to tackle that in the morning. So it's just always something, you know, it's always something. And on top of having no sleep, like I'm literally like delirious as hell right now, guys. Just bear with me. I'm just on here, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's real. I need a pillow quickly, and I'm going to do that in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. But I want to thank everybody for tuning into this podcast. I know this is not as long as I typically record. I usually go 50, 60 minutes sometimes. But hey, man, it is what it is. Didn't have too much to talk about. I thought I'd have a little bit more to talk about, but with, Tokyo Game Show going on and all of that, but it wasn't that popping, man. It just wasn't. So I'm not going to stretch the field for the sake of stretching the field. You know what I mean? I'm going to give you guys what you came here for, and I'm going to bow out gracefully. And that's what I'm doing. So I want to thank everybody for listening. Like I said before, all newcomers, man, I'm glad you decided to download or stream this podcast. And we do this shit every Monday like clockwork, baby. Same bad time, same bad channel. And we put it in. We put in work. And that's what it is. If you want to reach out to your boy, you can. It's easy to do actually on social media. You can hit me at StudioMguyvR on Twitter. You can hit me at StudioMaguyver79 on Instagram. Also check out the Facebook page at StudioMaguyver as well. And last but not least, the YouTube channel. That's Studio MacGyver TV. Studio MacGyver T.V. Type that shit in. It should take you to my channel. I do the podcast there. You can catch those there, and you can catch discussions and all these things on other games and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. I love all of my listeners who've been down with me for day one. You know who the fuck you are. And all the ones who come in late, whenever you come in, man, hey, I appreciate you as well. Let's make this thing a family thing, and let's keep this shit pushing into the future. I'm not going to stop. What about you? You gonna stop listening? No, you don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. And my show's been growing so well. It's been doing so good. So I want to keep that positive vibe going forward. All right. I'm gonna get out of here now, guys. I am so dead tired. I really am. I'm gonna stop talking about it and be about it. This is Studio MacGyver, and you have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.